on to 8.4, cylinders and cones. More of the same, just different shapes. So, features of cylinders. Cylinders are similar to prisms in the fact that there are two bases that are the same shape. In this case, they're not polygons, they are circles. Okay, but they have that similarity to a prism. Bases are the two circles. The circumference is what we've been referring to as P, the perimeter. It's the distance around one of the bases. Just like with prisms, one of the bases. And height is the distance between the two bases, even if it's laying down. Right? So, you have a circle here and a circle here. This is the height. It's laying down. You have a circle here and a circle here. This is the height standing up. So it's the connecting tissue between the two circles. All right, so formulas for cylinders. The lateral area is going to be 2 times pi times r times h. Okay, so remember, r is the radius, it's the distance from the center one way out to the edge. All right? The surface area is going to be the lateral area again, plus 2 pi r squared. Pi r squared is the area of the circle. So 2 pi r squared is the area of both bases. And the volume is going to be pi r squared h. Okay? So remember, we have the circumference of the base of the perimeter, height is h, and b is the area of the base. So the radius of the base of a cylinder is 4, and its height is 6. Find the surface area of the cylinder. So if it helps, draw a quick cylinder. The radius is 4, and the height is 6. Find the surface area. Okay, well, the surface area, remember, is going to be the lateral area, so 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area is going to be 2 times pi, which is 3.14, times the radius, which is 4, times the height, which is 6, plus 2 times pi, 3.14, times the radius, 4, squared. And now we just crunch the numbers. Okay? So 4 times 6 is 24, times 2 is 48, times 3.14 is 150.72. And then 4 squared is 16, double that is 32, times 3.14. Is 100.48. So the surface area is the total of those two. Oops, I lost a 0 in there. I put 10. 100.48. So the surface area again is 100.48 plus 150.72. That's 251.2 square inches. That's how much it would take to cover the entire shape in wrapping paper. Okay, the radius of the base of the circle is 12 feet. The height is 10. find its lateral area and volume. All right, well, lateral area, remember that first part, 2 pi RH. So 2 times 3.14, which is pi, times R, which is 12, times H, which is 10. So 12 times 10 is 120. Double that is 240 times 3.14. The lateral area is 753.6 square feet. And then the volume is going to be pi r squared times the height. So 12 squared is 144. Tack on a 0, that gives you 1440 times 3.14. That's 4,521.6 cubic feet. Remember, it's cubic because it's volume. Okay, find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of each cylinder. So now we're doing it all. So let's find the lateral area first. Remember, the lateral area is 2 pi RH. So 2 pi r h. 8 times 3 is 24. Double that is 48 times 3.14. 150.72 square centimeters. The surface area is going to be that plus 2 pi r squared. 2 pi r squared. 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18. 18 times 3.14 is 56.52 plus 150.72, which is 207.24 square centimeters. And remember, surface area should always be more than the lateral area because you're adding the lateral area into it. And then volume is pi r squared h. Pi r squared h. 3 squared is 9, times 8 is 72, times 3.14. 226.08 cubic centimeters. Remember, if you hit pause any time in this, go ahead and do it. Okay, so now we have a tricky one. And if it helps you, you can redraw it. Okay, so the diameter is 10, which means the radius is 5. Now, this is a tricky one because what they're saying is here, clean this up a little bit, what we're going to be doing here. They're saying this distance right here is 10, and that is 16. Well, you know what we have here. We have a triangle. There's a right angle right there. So we're trying to find B. So the first thing we need to do is find the height. So we're going to do 10 squared plus B squared equals 16 squared. So that's 100 plus B squared equals 16 squared, which is 256. We minus 100 from 256 and get 156. Take the square root of 156 and we get B is equal to 12.49. So our height is 12.49. Now we can do exactly what we just did on number 3. Okay, we have all the information we need. So the lateral area is 2 times pi times r, which is 5. Remember, it's 5 times h, which is 12.49. So 2 times 5 is 10. Times 12.49 just moves the decimal, so that's 124.9 times 3.14. So the lateral area is 392.19. And that's centimeters squared. Now the surface area, again, is going to be that number plus 2 pi r squared. 2 pi r, remember, is 5 squared. Well, 5 squared is 25, times 2 is 50, so 50 times 3.14 is 157. We add 392.19 to 157, and we find out the surface area is 549.19 centimeters squared. And then volume is pi r squared h. So 3.14 r, which is 5 again, squared, h, which is 12.49. 5 squared is 25, times 3.14, times 12.49 is 980.465, which is 47 centimeters cubed.
Okay, so now moving on to a cone. Now if you remember with a prism and a pyramid, a prism had 2 of the same shapes on either end, and a pyramid only had 1 of those shapes as a base. You'll notice the similarity between a cylinder and a cone. A cylinder has 2 circles, and a cone only has 1 circle coming up to a point. So in this case, it's very similar. They're similar to a pyramid in 2 ways. There's only 1 base, and it comes up to a point. Notice we have the radius of the circle. We have the altitude, just like we did the pyramid, from the top down to the center of the circle. And the slant height is if you were crawling up the side of this cone. So we have a circular base. Circumference is the distance around the base. Height is straight up from the center to the top of the cone. And slant height is the outside. So our formulas. So the lateral area is 1/2 the circumference times the slant height. Which is also equal to pi times r times the slant height. Now, why is that? Circumference is equal to 2 times pi times r. Right? Okay. Well, the formula says 1/2 of c. So if we multiply this by 1/2, that would cancel the 2, and we have our pi r. So our surface area is going to be the lateral area plus pi r squared. Remember, we refer to that as the area of the base, area of the circle. And volume is a little bit different. It's 1/3 pi r squared h. So if you notice, it looks very similar to the volume of a cylinder. Okay, and it's practically the same thing. The only difference is the 1/3, because the cone's volume is 1/3 of a cylinder with the other same dimensions. So let's do this. Find the lateral area, surface area, and volume of each. So lateral area, again, is pi, 3.14, times our radius, which is 6, times our slant height, which we don't know. So we have to find that. So if you look, we have a triangle right here. Here's our right angle. This is the hypotenuse, which we don't know. So we need to solve for the hypotenuse. So we do 6 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. So that's 36 plus 49 equals c squared. So 36 plus 49 is 85. You just take the square root of both sides. It's going to be a little bit more than 9. 9.22. Round it. It's 9.219. And there's our slant height. So we just multiply those, 9.22 times 6 times 3.14. We get 173.704, so just 7. And that's inches squared. Now our surface area, again, is going to be that 173.7 plus pi r squared. 3.14 times the radius, which we said was 6, squared. So the 6 squared is 36, times 3.14 is 113.04. We're going to add that to the 173.7. And we get 286.74. Again, inches squared. And then volume is 1/3 pi, which is 3.14, not colon, sorry, 3.14, the radius squared times the height, which remember was 7. So 6 squared is 36. 36 times 7 times 3.14 divided by 3 is 263.76 cubic inches. Alright, let's see what we have here. Now remember, if you need to, if it helps you, okay, so we have a diameter of 14.8, which if we divide that by 2, we get 7.4 as our radius. And that's what we need. This time we have the slant height of 15, but we do not have the other height, the true height. So we need to go to our old friend Pythagoras again and solve for b. So 7.4 squared plus b squared equals 15 squared. 7.4 squared is 54.76. 15 squared is 225. If we subtract the 54.76, we get b squared equals 170.24. We square root both sides. And we get a height of 13.047, so 05. So there's our height. And now we have all the information we need to solve this. So our lateral area is going to be 1/2. Sorry, wrong one. Not that it's wrong, but be consistent. Pi times radius, which we said was 7.4, times the slant height, which was 15. So we just straight multiply those. 3.14 times 7.4 times 15. And we get 348.54 centimeters squared. Our surface area is going to be that number plus pi again, in our radius squared. So remember, we need to square first, so 7.4 squared times 3.14 is 171.95. It's 946. Now we're going to add that to the 348.54. So 348.54 plus 171.95 is 520.49 centimeters squared. And last but not least, the volume is 1/3 times 3.14 times r squared times the height, which we found out to be 13.05. We do the square first, 7.4 squared times 13.05 times 3.14, and then we divide it by 3. And then we get 747.966, so 97 centimeters cubed. Okay, just a few more examples. I think it's just those two. Yep, 2 more. So again, we don't have our slant height, so we're just going to do Pythagorean theorem. 3 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. So we're looking for that hypotenuse. So that's 9 plus 49 equals c squared. So that's 58. Square root both sides. And we find out that it's 7.62. That's our slant height. And now we're ready to go. Lateral area is pi times our radius, which is 3, times our slant height, which is 7.62. And we just type it in, 3.14 times 3 times 7.62. And we get 71.78 feet. Our surface area is going to be 71.78 plus pi r squared. So 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3.14 is 28.26 plus 71.78, which is 100.04 feet squared. Oops, I've got to square my feet up here. And volume is 1/3 pi r squared, and that's 3 squared, times the height, which we said was 7. So remember, we do our squaring first. So 3 squared is 9, times 7 is 63. 63 times 3.14 divided by 3 is 65.94 cubic feet. And last but not least, so here we have 30 degrees, and we need to find our two other numbers. So I'm going to use tangent. So I'm going to try to find the radius first. So tangent of 30 degrees equals opposite, which is 5, over adjacent. So x is equal to 5 divided by the tangent of 30. And 5 divided by tangent of 30 is 8.66. Now we have two choices. We can use 5 and 8.66 to get the hypotenuse with the Pythagorean theorem, or we can do sine and do opposite and hypotenuse. Your choice. Just I'm going to do sine to mix it up. Sine of 30 equals opposite over hypotenuse, which we don't know. And then we switch them. 5 divided by sine 30. 5 divided by sine of 30. And you get 10. And again, you could have done 8.66 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. Okay? So now we have all of our information. So lateral area is pi times the radius times the slant height, which is 10. So 3.14 times 8.66 times 7 is 271.92. The surface area is going to be that number plus pi r squared. So we do the squaring first. Times 3.14, and that's 235.486, so 49, plus the 271.92 is 507.41. And again, oh, forgot the label, so that's centimeters squared on both of them, those are areas. And last but not least, the volume is 1/3 pi r, which was the 8.66 squared, and the height, which was 5. That's a 5.9s. So we square 8.66 first, and take that times 5 times 3.14, and then divide by 3. And we get 392.476, that's 48 centimeters cubed. And there you go.